Hey guys, this is Lucid. Welcome back. We are about to hop back into our game with Late Age Ulm, and I am coming back to this from about 30 turns. No, not quite that much. About 20 turns in the future. So this is my future self going back and casting this. I got a little behind in my recording. Okay, so it's turn 57. We have done some more empowerment. So. We're getting one of our vampires up in Astral so I can have a high death Astral cross path. There's some cool things you can do with this, like you can get Ether Warriors. I'm not really planning on that. Mostly what I need is, I don't have any magic phase attacks. And I want to get some. Well, I have some. I have blood, like remote assassinations that I can do, but I don't have army magic phase attack. Well, I can do Centaurs, which often will work to trigger gem usage, but not always. And the nice thing about Centaurs actually is you can do it on top of your own fort, whereas if you Cloud Trapeze a thug onto your own fort, you can't do it. So, yeah. But there are some other... So one of the things I wanted was magic phase attacks. But by empowering... Where the hell did he go? By empowering this guy in Astral, it also opens up Soul Drain, which is really strong. I'm not sure how much I'm going to use it. But if I know I'm going to be having a big battle, it's something I definitely want to consider using. There's one really cool thing with nations that can do life after death and have living troops, is that if they do Soul Drain, the soulless that they get converted into are immune to Soul Drain. And so if you're fighting even undead that do have souls, like these guys are not lifeless, they will get zapped by Soul Drain. So kind of cool to do. And I believe the damage is... psychic armor negating damage that's resisted by magic. So I think it will work well on these guys. Not totally sure. I probably should be using it more, I think, than I'm going to over the next 20 turns. But anyway, that was the thought. The second one was I had some guy get empowered in air. Now there's a few things here. One is I would really love to get... I have a fair amount of air income, like 6. I don't really have a good way to use it. I've been making alquils since like for forever, I think. Where's my little alquil station? Yeah, see, these guys all have alquils. I probably could make more. And I'd love to climb the air ladder and get into things like Queen of Air Elementals. But that being said, Air Death is a super useful cross path. It gives me Wailing Winds and Winds of Death on an Immortal chassis, which is really nice. So he can do Wind of Death Trap and Wailing Winds in big battles, which will be good versus a lot of these guys. Anyway, that's pretty good. So we're getting ready for that. We have done some remote site searching. Mostly water to catch up. After we got these Hydromancers, we were trying to catch up on water site searching. And actually with that, I'm going to show you real quick. If you hit F1, it'll bring up this menu, and if you hit Tab, it'll hide the commanders in here. If you hit D from here, it'll show you what each province can recruit, which is pretty useful if you want to see, like, hey, what indies do I have? I forgot. Like, especially if you conquer an enemy territory and you weren't necessarily paying attention to... what type of indies they had. It's a cool way to see if you maybe got some cool commanders, like, oh, there's a Wood-Hidden Druid, and then down here... okay, look, this is my site that has all these cool units from the site, the Hydromancers and the Sages. Anyway, kind of cool. But if you get... Whoops. I'll unpress D. If you unpress D, over here it'll tell you where you've site searched everything, and it gives you a good sense of what you're missing. So you can see, like, water I've barely hit, right? Air I've hit a fair amount, but only to level 1. So I'm casting Auspex some, which will get me some of the air sites. Blood and Death, I actually have some pretty significant gaps. I don't think I'm going to fix these until later, unfortunately, but if I were paying more attention to this, I would probably come back and fix it, like, now. Yeah, so anyway, go back to the messages. We've got a lot of blood slaves that got harvested. We've got a good battle here. I'll just show you this. So we caught Utgard's raiders here. So he was raiding, and I've got a bunch of little vampires. Wait, are they just doing Horde of Skeletons? I think they are. Okay, yeah, they're just doing Horde of Skeletons. I don't think anybody's going to charge in. I think I'm just going to win via superior amounts of skeleton chaff. Oh no, I have one guy who's charging in. What a brave man. Really dangerous charging in against these guys because they can dust to dust me, which they might have done actually. Did I lose a vampire? So in this particular battle, we got 3 out of the 4 Siconias, and I didn't lose any vampires, so I don't know what happened to the last one. I think it used to be in Dominions 4 that if your immortals died, they wouldn't show up as dead, they would just appear back at your capital. But now they actually showed them that they're dead, and then they still reappear back at your capital, which actually I like way better, because they're kind of dead. You know, a lot of times, or especially now, they don't reappear immediately, so... Okay, Lemuria raided Utgard successfully. I believe Utgard won this one. So this is a lot of the game at this point, is watching Lemuria and Utgard fight. So this guy's regenerating and he's got a Vine Shield. I don't think he has much more, but just this Vine Shield does a huge amount, because with regeneration, it's really hard for them to do more damage than he can regenerate. And so he just sits here and kind of like picks at him. Yeah, just bloop, bloop. I actually, yeah, I should make more Vine Shields. Okay, what else? That was, okay, yeah, that was this. So they basically got routed off the field attacking Utgard. Though they did kill a Necromancer, which I think was a... Actually, I don't know where that... Maybe that's from a site? Utgard raids back a province. And Lemuria successfully raids a province. And Lemuria successfully raids another province. And, yeah, okay. And these are the events. Okay. This actually is a kind of funny event. Let's see if I still have it. Yeah, you get... This is a weird event that gives you an Imp Familiar as an item, which is a kind of cool item. It's one of the things that allows Blood Nations to go Drain if they want to. Because pretty early on you can start forging these, and they will basically make up for Drain scales. Though, you know, kind of, because you're having to blood hunt and you're having to waste mage turns, which could be spent researching on forging these things, but they're pretty cheap if you look at them. I don't think I've made many of them. I kind of have been like, I have better things for my mages to do all game. But, yeah, they're not bad. And then a strong argument can be made for them. They're tainted. One of the problems with being tainted is it will stack with other forms of taint, like the item which I actually do like making, which is our Lightless Lantern. So if you put this on the same thing as a Lightless Lantern, it's kind of a problem because they end up getting harm marked a pretty good bit faster, and you end up losing both items sooner. So if you want each item to kind of give you research for a long time, it's probably best not to put them on the same dude. Yeah. But if you're going to put like an owl quill on them, you can put like an owl quill in one of these, and that's not a bad deal at all. So I probably could have made more of those, but I don't know. I'm not exactly sure at which point I would have made them, because there was kind of like this period of the game where I needed blood slaves and like some very low level magic or research objectives, and then like right after that I could make Lightless Lanterns. So anyway, I'm sure if I went back and really deconstructed it, I could figure out a good time to make those. Okay, so those are the events. We got attacked in Mictlan, which is annoying by a bad event. And we moved our army last turn back to take this from Erythra as part of our agreement. Yeah, so that'll be nice to get this back, get the shock resistance on our dudes and more air income. That'll really get our air income nice and high up to close to 10 per turn. And I don't think I noticed this at the time, but yeah, I have Air 2 mages here. I think I actually figured it out later when I was going through and being like, oh, what things can I recruit? And then I saw like these Air 2 guys. I was like, oh man, that's really cool. So anyway, we are going to bust out here. We're going to use this vampire with a charcoal shield and some stuff, and with his life drain attack, he should be okay. The thing is, one of the cool things is if you click on protection right now, here it says 17, but protection versus mundane, so that's accounting for invulnerability. That stacks diminishingly with the armor, so it's up to 31. So he is pretty strong against normal stuff like werewolves. So he's going to break out here. These guys are going to go attack, and I can't remember if I've done this before in this particular series, but vampire counts, one of the kind of top secret ways to use them is you can use them as a vampire lord. One of the big things vampire lords can do that these guys can't is they can cast Soul Vortex. And Soul Vortex makes them much better against a lot of troops, though unfortunately not really against Lemuria because they have magic weapons. Vampires just are not useful as thugs against Lemuria. They're useful as casters, but not as thugs. But like against Utgard or normal nations or against Erythra, they're actually very useful thugs. And what you have to do to make them much better as thugs is you give them Soul Vortex and Skeletal Body, and then they can make a few skeletons, and then they jump in there with them. Especially if they have a shield. They really kind of want a shield, and they kind of want cheap armor. If you can make them cheap armor and a shield, they become very, very solid thugs. But even with just Soul Vortex, you can do some very budget thugging. So, one of the things you can do is you can script them like this, where you give them one death gem and you have them jump in. The other thing you can do, and I can't do it yet, and I probably won't be able to do it till much later, is once you get Blood 9 and you get damage reversal, you can give them a slave, or 2 slaves, and then they will cast damage reversal, which is very strong. It's basically going to cut the damage they take close to in half, while also dealing more damage back to the other person. So that'll basically make all of their defensive things twice as good, while in addition making their offense better. So yeah, basically these guys can do both of those. And if they do both of them, they don't really need items to thug against most normal nations. The Lemuria, it's not really going to help. I mean, damage reversal will help some, but not enough. Okay, so we're going to basically be raiding these. We kind of want to raid that too. I don't think we have enough vampires here. No. If this guy weren't locked up in a siege, we could. And yeah, that's basically it. Here we're basically also trying to get our blood economy up a little stronger, so we're moving some vampires equipped to blood hunt. I put gems on them, so if I want to, I can script them, and I probably should have gone ahead and given them the... Which one is it? One of the cool things, if you hit Control S, it'll pop this up, so I see 2 is actually the script I was looking for. So anyway, I probably should have given them this script and spread them out, and then they would be ready to jump in case we got attacked. But anyway, they're gonna blood hunt here. Yeah. So that's basically it. We're gonna go ahead and do the next turn, which is turn 58. So with turn 58, we have Voice of Apsu. We cast it, no sights. So you remember we're catching up because there was a lot of water we had not sight searched. Air, don't find anything. Water, don't find anything. Okay, water, we found a wellspring of secrets. I forget what that is. Okay, it's a water 1. That's good, because my water income's shit right now. Well, not that shit, 10. That's not shit. There was this one. Revive King. Okay, we also found a burial mound. That's one of the things I'm trying to do, is get all of my dudes to site search wherever they are. My vampires, because I'm going to have them run blood hunting anyway, and so I need to check. And I think there's a couple provinces, like this one hasn't been searched for blood, which, hey, if you've got a blood 2 guy sitting on it, you might as well. Blood sites are very rare. They don't pop up much. And then some of them are pretty shitty, but every once in a while you get one which will give you a blood reduction, like a blood cost reduction to your summons. And I mean, they're kind of common. Like if you blood search your whole nation, there's probably like a 1 in 2 chance you'll find one, depending obviously on the size of your nation and magic site frequency and stuff, but there's about a 1 in 2 chance. That's kind of how I think about it. And if you're in that 1 and 2 games where you find something with like a 30% blood discount and you're playing a Blood Nation, you don't want to miss that opportunity. It's kind of game changing. So it's one of those things, it's kind of like playing the lottery, but it's a lottery that the odds are kind of in your favor. So you gotta play it even though the payoff is pretty rare. Okay, blood economy, you can see it's picking up. We are ecoing hard on blood. All those vampires are going out to to blood hunt. We can see Lemuria getting wrecked here by Utgard. Lemuria has a pretty hard time dealing with thugs. They do. Well, more like super combatants than thugs. Like things that can regenerate faster than they can do damage to them. There's some things they can do, but it's kind of tricky. I'm actually struggling with that right now in my Lemuria game. Okay, and so we take this we'll just show you this real quick because that was kind of cool. This is my vampire with some gear fighting a bunch of wolves. And these are werewolves, so they're actually pretty strong. They're not like the little shitty wolves. They have like 3 attacks. So that's why it was important to gear them up, because when I get attacked by like several squares of these guys, it's going to be kind of painful. Yeah, but you can see we manage it pretty well. But yeah, a naked vampire here would have died, so I think the gear was pretty important. Vampire count, attacking, successful. Lemuria gets successfully raided by these thugs. Yeah. Wait, we're attacking, okay. Oh, I patrolled, I think. Oh no. Okay, yeah, we broke the fort, now we got inside of it. So we're claiming the throne, we're building the temple. Yeah, we also want to upgrade this, I think, to a citadel, given that we lost it. It probably means we could do with some more defense here, so very shortly we will probably end up doing that. I forget what the difference is. How much do these things... Oh, 750, okay. So, okay, so the plan is basically, let's go ahead and claim this ocean. Lemuria hasn't done it yet, but I'm sure they will be happy to. So we got these mercs, we're going to send them in here. This site is going for our blood economy pretty good. So we've got this guy patrolling. We've got scouts and commanders that are finally getting the blood slaves off these guys. I'd kind of let them pile up for a turn or two. Blood economy going pretty strong here. This guy, I've got a Bane Lord shuffling, partially because I had one, and then partially because this is a disease province. So, yeah. And maybe we'll do a quick tour to blood, right? Like, I'm blood hunting here. This is a 6,000 province, so it's ripe for it. This is a very high blood province. I used to be, when I played Blood Nations, I used to not ever get these. And certainly in the early mid-game, you do not want to touch these with blood. You want to go after like provinces like this, or 8,000 is a number I really like. If you take growth scales... if you have 8,000, it'll stay around 8,000 for a long time. By the time you get to 6,000, if you're blood hunting it with like 2 pretty good blood mages, the population is not gonna be stable with growth. You're gonna be losing population far faster than it replenishes. So, yeah. Anyway, this one's got a ticking time clock on it, and eventually the population's going to run significantly low enough below the 5,000 population threshold that it's not going to make sense to blood hunt here anymore. So this one's on a clock. This one, and this is kind of one of the changes I made in how I play Blood Nations, and actually I think one of my friends, Calavan, talked me into this, was if you want to get your blood economy really high in a big game, you have to be willing to go after some of these big provinces. Now, there's pros and cons. The con is that you're going to not get a ton of income, because these things give a ton of income. And it may look to you like, oh, I'm still getting income from it, because my unrest is 0. But it's not actually true, because what's going to happen, the way the turn process works, is we're going to blood hunt first. Then it will generate a ton of unrest. That unrest will be present. the turn will calculate how much income you make and give it to you based off the unrest you have then. Then the patrolling happens where it gets rid of unrest. So even if every turn you're able to totally wipe out your unrest, you do not get all the income it shows. So in some ways, this is showing I have more disposable income than I do, because I'm patrolling. I'm patrolling away, or I have basically there's unseen unrest that significantly nerfs this number. Like it's probably closer to like 5,000 income after unrest. But anyway, I've got a ton of like if we look at this particular site, 41. Let's see how many I got off of it. 23 slaves, so that's not bad. I probably could have done a little higher, but yeah, 23 per turn from one site, pretty good. We're blood hunting here. We are going to be blood hunting here. We were earlier, but we don't really have slaves. We're going to be blood hunting here too, but we haven't really gotten all our dudes out here. You can see this crew just got in, and they're going to be doing their thing. We're blood hunting here like crazy. This is a 9,000 province. Here we're doing it 9,000, 9,000, 8,000. These are great provinces to blood hunt. Once you get over like 10,000, it's kind of like, I would kind of rather have it be making me money. Like this one, I would kind of rather have it making me money, but now I'm going so hard into blood right now that I'm basically blood hunting any place I can get my blood hunters to, except, I mean, you just can't do it here. And I think I might be doing it by accident on my cap, because I was doing it desperately earlier, but I should have stopped by this point. Now I've still got 3 guys doing it, so they need to stop. It is not worth it doing it on your cap. So like this province, this province, this province, this province, I probably won't blood hunt, like if it's in the 20,000 range, but everything that's close to 10,000 is gonna get blood hunted now. What else? Okay, so we've cleared this up. We can see Lemuria is moving in here, and Lemuria and I don't exactly have a peace, like we don't have a nap, but we had kind of had it like a gentleman's agreement that, hey, Abyssia is kind of strong, Utgard is falling now, and I did not have this agreement with Lemuria until it was super clear Utgard was going to fall, that, hey, let's just leave each other be. And because like there's 2 scenarios. One is we can fight each other while we eat Utgard, but that's going to make both of us weak to Abyssia and to Erythra. And the second option was like, let's not do that. The only thing that would be kind of contentious is who's going to get what, and we obviously aren't going to agree to all that via diplomacy, especially since Utgard is fighting back like a demon. So anyway, I probably should take that too. Yeah, we're gonna go here. I kind of didn't take this because I thought Erythra was gonna take it, because I kind of told him when we made this peace, hey, you can have basically a ton of this island, like you can have these 4 provinces. And I don't think the population's gone from them either, but he hasn't shown any interest in doing that yet, even though he has big armies here. And like, same thing for the water. I don't especially want it, I just don't want Lemuria to have it. I mean, this is a great site, but I don't know. I kind of get the feeling Erythra is not fully playing. So I think that's it for this turn, and, well, what am I doing in terms of movement? We're moving in some wolves. I'm moving... Oh, in terms of recruitment, too, I'm still making these guys for my capital. That's right. We've got a shit ton of guys. My micro is taking a long time. I'm also cranking on Ghoul Guardians. Those guys are the shit, especially versus Lemuria. I cannot have too many. You're not limited in how many Ghoul Guardians you can make. If you're playing against Lemuria and you want more, you need to be careful not to put forts in your cap circle. Because right now, we are definitely resource limited. So if I had fewer forts, I would be able to make more. Makes me sad. Yeah, that's basically what we're doing. You can see blood hunting down here. I do not have a lot of blood infrastructure set up over this way. Like, all this land I just took from Utgard, I'm not blood hunting it yet, though I plan to. Yeah. What I think... Do I have somebody moving in here? I don't know if I'm doing it this turn. I think I'll do it in the next few turns. I'm going to start turning this into another, like, vampire coven. In the sense that right now all my vampires are made in my capital, and that means when they die they respawn here. So if I have to take 2 or 3 turns to get vampires down here, and then they die and they come back up to my capital, they're effectively dead for much longer because they spend so much time moving around. If I make them here, it's much easier to use these vampires on this portion of the map. So we will be switching this, though not this turn, so that's kind of just a sneak peek of what's coming. Yeah, we're also eyeing the shit out of this. We would definitely like to take it. I don't know if we can yet, but anyway. And I think that's it for this episode. Thank you all for watching, and tune in next time.